Good evening. We are so glad to have you back with us. We have such a wonderful audience. Our viewing audience contacts me throughout the month and let me know what you think of this show. And so far, all I'm getting are compliments. Every now and then I think, well, maybe somebody's missed something and didn't see something where we had a glitch or something, but I'm very pleased that you like what we're presenting to you. We have a lot of good information, and this evening's show is no different. We have an outstanding guest for you, and we will be providing a lot of invaluable information. So what I need you to do is make sure you have that pencil and paper handy so you can write down all the information, the contact information. It would be great if this was a call-in show, but we don't do it that way. And so we go ahead and we record the shows so you can call in and talk to the person later on. And I want to introduce my guest, and my guest is Carmen Musin. And we're going to let you know exactly what she does in just a few minutes. But I just want to say, good evening, Carmen. How are you today?
I'm doing fine, Tom. Thank you for having me.
Okay, we're going to talk more about exactly who you are and what you do, because this is an area that I think is so important, and people really need to know what it's all about. When you think SHP, what does that mean? Sleep in heavenly peace. When I
Yes.
first heard that term, I wanted to hear more. Sleep in heavenly peace. What in the world is that all about? But let me say first, we have Carmen with us this evening, and she is the chapter president for NYE County for SHP, or Sleep in Heavenly Peace. So at this time, I'm going to have to ask Carmen, Carmen, tell us how you got involved with SHP, Sleep in Heavenly Peace, and then we'll get into later what it's all about. But tell us more about your chapter.
Okay, well, I ran for Miss Senior Golden Years last year, and when you're in the pageant, you have to have a platform. And my platform was on Sleep in Heavenly Peace. And I come upon this, they had a bedding drive in front of Walmart. So I went and I got them information, and it sounded really good to me. So I thought, that's what I'm going to do. I want to get involved with the Sleep in Heavenly Peace.
Okay, when we talk about sleep in heavenly peace, so obviously we're talking about sleeping, but tell us more. What is this for? Who is it for? Who does it encompass?
It has to do with making bunk beds for children that don't have a bed of their own, and the parents are maybe struggling where they can't afford it. So we go in and we make beds for the kids so they don't have to sleep on the floor anymore. And they get with it, you know, sheets, pillow, a quilt, and their own bed so they don't have to sleep on the floor.
When we have children that are sleeping on the floor with a family, and later on when they grow up, do they have to give these beds back?
No, they don't. No, they don't.
So it becomes their bed.
It's their very own bed, very own.
You know, and something I guess I read before, some of the children, this will be the first bed they've ever really had that they could call their own.
Yes, it is. And I mean, these kids get very excited when they get their own beds. You know, they do so much better. They do better grades in school. They get a better night's sleep. I mean, they just love it. And some of these kids just are so enjoyed to have their own bed they can call their own.
Well, I think it's wonderful, and I really believe that uh, everybody that's watching this evening will understand completely. Now, I want to jump off into something else because you did mention children, and sometimes in their families, they don't have a bed of their own. And we can understand that, and we can understand how excited they'll be to get their own bed. But what about, say, if they're in a foster home or something like that, would these children be able to get a bed too?
Yes, they will. They just send in for the link and they request a bed on our shp.org. And there's a link on there that says request a form, and they just fill that out, and then it gets sent to me, and then I call them and contact them. But it's for foster and others.
So it's really for any children that need a bed.
Yes.
Now that in itself makes a big difference because now we know we're talking about children, we're talking about beds, and we're talking about them being able to sleep in heavenly peace. I think it is so important when we think about it in those terms. But let's look at that again. You said you became involved with SHP when you saw something at Walmart. Tell us more about that.
Well, we have events every once in a while, which we'll be having one coming up shortly as soon as this COVID's done with. But we have a bedding drive where people can bring and donate pillows, blankets, or quilts so we can give them to these children because every bed they get these items with it of their very own. So they'll have their very own quilt and their own pillow and sheets and a new mattress that goes along with the bed.
Now, when you do that, and again, you got excited when you saw that, but what was your next step after that? You looked at it, you decided, I want to be a part of this. Like you said, you had a platform as Miss Senior Golden Years, and this is what you wanted to talk about. So tell us a little bit more of things you talked about as your platform.
Well, I talked on my platform how I wanted to be involved more in this organization. I felt it was very heartwarming and I wanted to pay it forward and help him because at one time I was homeless myself. So I know what it's like not to have anything. I seen a lot of children that didn't have any beds or blankets or sheets. So it just filled my heart and I felt there was something that I was supposed to pay forward to help these children out and try to get it more aware to the public so people can get more involved.
Now, well, I have to ask this, since you were able to get involved because of your interest, if somebody else was interested and said, I like what Carmen just told me, and I want to become a part of this as well. I want to do something for our community, especially our community children who do not have beds. So how would they get in touch with you and what would they need to do to become a part of your chapter?
All they need to do is call me at 775-910-8921. I can let them know when our next meeting. We have a meeting every month, and I am looking for more people to join our team, which is called a core team, where we try to break it up, where we have our president, vice president, our financial person, our social media. I have a personal secretary, and there's just a lot of things. We need people. I have a delivery team. So anybody who wants to get involved and join us, they're more than welcome. We'd love to have them come aboard. And they can learn how to help build these beds for these children and go out and vet them and deliver them so they can experience this opportunity too.
Well, I'm hoping from this particular show, as soon as people see this, they get this information, I'm hoping you're going to get a lot of calls saying, I want to be part of SHP, Sleep in Heavenly Peace. I think you're going to find that's going to be truly exciting. I want to say, too, that, I talk about Pahrump Life magazine every now and then. And Pahrump Life magazine always has important information. But in this particular issue also, they also have an ad about Sleep in Heavenly Peace. Read the ad, and Carmen says she's going to update some of the information that's in there to make sure you have correct information. But she gave you her phone number. And Carmen, give that phone number one more time.
Okay, it's 775-910-8921.
Repeat it one more time for those that are writing slow.
Okay, 775-910-8921.
Okay, now you have the phone number that Carmen just gave you, and you can contact her and become a part of this fantastic chapter and organization. It's something that's going to really help our kids. She's talked about it, but we're going to get into a little bit more when we talk about the smiles, just the warmth of these children getting their own beds and saying, this is mine forever. And whether you're living with a family that just couldn't afford it, or you're living in foster care, the foster parents love to see these kids receive their own beds. And I'm going to ask Carmen, I'm going to say something and ask her to confirm and if it's not true, she'll correct me on it. But if a foster child get their bed and then they move to a different place, they take their bed with them. Is that correct, Carmen?
Yes, I'm sure they would, because we don't take any of the beds back. It's going to be their own personal bed, so they would take that with them. It would be their bed, their very own.
Okay, now I know we're going to get into a lot in the next sessions, but I need to ask the question, who builds the beds and what are they made of? Are these put together pretty fast out of plywood or something else? How are they made?
They
What's the
are made out
construction?
of wood, good wood. It's a pine. We have a build team, and then it's mostly where we can get the community involved, and we'll have a community build where they can come out and learn how to use the tools, help build these beds. So we'll have these for the children. Now, usually in September, we have bunks across America, but since we're going to be involved in the Fall Festival this year, we're going to do one in October. And it'll be involved. I'll advertise it for anybody who wants to come out and put their hands on and help make these beds. It'd be great. They'll enjoy it.
Now you said before bunk beds. Are they all bunk beds that are made?
They can be singles or they can be a bunk bed. It all depends what they request. You know, some people want a bunk bed for their 2 kids, or some just need a single bed, but they can get either or.
That is truly, truly outstanding. Now I want to say that I've seen the finished beds, so I know exactly what it is Carmen is talking about. Carmen, in winding up this one session, is there anything you'd like to add?
Well, I just hope these people out here that you want to come out and join us and help us. It's all done by volunteers, and it's done by fundraising from, other organizations that help. It's all done by donations and volunteers. So we need all the volunteers we need, and we do need donations to help build these beds.
Okay, we'll be talking about donations in our next sessions. We'll be talking about quite a few other things as well. Remember, SHP, Sleep and Heavenly Peace. This is an organization that dedicates their time and efforts to children. Children receiving beds, their very own beds. This is so important. It's so important at that young age to be able to do this. And this is an organization that helps our kids. Come back and join us. Welcome. We're glad to have you back with us. And I'd like to introduce my guest one more time, Carmen Musin. She's the chapter president of NYE County for SHP. Now, we've done a lot of talking about what SHP is. It's Sleep and Heavenly Peace. So, Carmen, I want to ask you one more time. I know you've told us how you got acquainted with SHP, but how long have you been part of this organization?
I started back in March of 2018, and I got involved, and I got more involved after a while. I never thought to this day that it would be my platform to get involved and then turn around and end up being the new NYE County chapter president. So, I mean, it's come a long ways, but I love every bit of it.
So now you're the chapter president, and you're the NYE County chapter president. So does that mean that right now you have people in all parts of the county that are working with SHP? How are you actually working that?
Right now, we're focusing on Pahrump. Since we have NYE County, we do have all the other towns, but we're trying to focus on one town at a time so we can fulfill the beds, and then we'll move on to the next town since they're further out.
Okay, so right now you're focusing on Pahrump, and how successful have you been in Pahrump?
I feel we've been very successful. We've delivered since I've taken over in January, besides the COVID, which has slowed us down, we have a total of 35 beds that I have delivered since I've taken over.
35 happy young people. That is fantastic. Tell us, how you feel when you deliver a bed. What do you see in the eyes of the kids and the families when you deliver the beds?
the joy, and it's very heartwarming when you see these kids get so excited and knowing that they have their own bed, their own pillows, and their own quilts. I mean, a lot of times they'll just jump in their beds and they'll lay down and cover up and just don't want to leave. It's an experience I would love everybody to be able to do, because it's very heartwarming, and the parents, even, you got a lot of parents or grandparents that are raising their grandchildren. So I mean, I've seen a lot of tears and a lot of happy faces, and it's just, I love every bit of it.
Well, I don't know. Just listening to you inspires me, and I'd like to know more and more about exactly what's going on. So I'm going to ask the other question. You say you've delivered so many beds since you've taken over. Uh, that in itself is important, but who makes the bids? And if you put an approximate value on the bids, um, and we sometimes hate to do that, but what is this value that we're giving this child?
Well, each bed is $175. If it's a bunk, it comes out to like $350, and that includes the mattress, the bed itself, and the sheets and the pillows. So they get the whole package.
I know these kids appreciate everything you're doing. Uh, you talk about the cost. How do you get funds to take care of these beds?
Well, we have gotten funds from many organizations here in town that has donated, and then we do events. Like we're doing an event right now. It's for the movies in the park, which there are a few more on Saturdays, and this way we can help raise funds so we can buy these things. If not, it's by donations from other organizations. We plan on having a car wash. We're going to be at the Fall Festival. We're going to be in the parade. So we need to just get it out there and let people know that this is all done by donations and volunteers.
So I love what you just said. You've got SHP, Sleep in Heavenly Peace, and you're going to be advertising this throughout everything that's done in Pahrump so far and in the far-reaching areas of NYE County. So when you talk about the movies in the park, how do you actually advertise? Is there something that comes on the screen to say that, or you're actually out there?
Actually, like there's people coming to the movies at the park. We had just started last week, so we have a few more, but it will be advertised in Facebook to let people know that they were there to do some fundraising. And I just hope everybody comes out and come see the movies and come out and support us and buy things from our snack bar.
Okay, do you hand out the brochures as well so that people know what you're all about?
Yes, we have a sign up, and then I have brochures to give to people, and if they ask questions, we answer to them. So we're trying to just spread the news all in our community.
So for some people that feel, well, I can't come out and help you make the bids, I can't come out and do this for you, I may not be able to make the meetings, but I can contribute something, donate some funds to help you make these bids for kids. So that in itself is a big help, is that correct?
Yes, it is. And they can donate. They can either call me and they can donate to us, and I will send it into ships, or, so we'll have the funds. Or they can go on the Facebook page or go to shpbids.org, and they can, right there, they'll tell you how to send funds, and it's all on the brochure with the address.
Would you give those numbers again, just for those people that may be writing it down and want to contact you?
What numbers? They can contact me at 775-910-8921. And if they want, they can contact me, and I can tell them how they can do donating or how they can help get involved with our organization and help come out and build beds with us.
Now, I know that you're going to have some foster parents out there, and you have foster parents that are looking at this and saying, wait a minute, I need beds for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids, whatever, and who do I contact to let them know I need a bed or some beds, and what do I need to do?
Okay, you want to go on the website to shpbeds.org, and they will have a link where it says request a bed. You'll click on that, you'll fill out the information, and once that's done, you send it, and they will send it to me, and then I will contact you.
How long does this normally take?
It all depends how many beds we have. Sometimes it takes a couple of months. There was some that waited 6 months because of how many beds we were able to deliver, because it's all done by donation, so we can buy the wood and build them and buy the mattresses. So it all depends how much we have and how many funds we have.
And you also mentioned they can have bunk beds or single beds depending on the needs of the family, the children. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. They were requested when they fill out the information. They'll put on there if they want a bunk or if they need singles, and it'll be on the application.
You know, we mentioned this in this program this evening, but when I've looked at the beds, the only ones I've ever seen are the bunk beds. So I thought, I was under the impression that all you made were bunk beds. So this information you're providing this evening has been so important. And I think our viewing audience would feel the same way. They're looking at this and they may have heard something about SHP, and then they're finding, oh, that's not exactly what I thought it was. And so we're clarifying the information, and that's why that's why you're the guest this evening, because there are a lot of people with misunderstanding about what's going on. This clarifies it, and this also provides a way for a young person to receive their very own beds. I'm very pleased with everything I've heard you say. What else do you want to add on that?
Well, I'd just like to say that, we can always use the donations, and I would love to have people come out and join us. Like I said, in October, we will have a community build for everybody to come out and help us build these beds. You don't have to have no experience with tools. We'll teach you how to do it, and then you'll have that first-hand experience and see what it is. And then there's times I will take someone out to let them see what the delivery is if they want. So it's a great organization.
When you mention the community build, and I've heard that before. I haven't participated in one, but I know there are a lot of people in our community who would like to. So community build, explain again exactly what that is.
It is where everybody in our community is more than welcome to come out and help us build beds for our children so they can learn how we do it, how we put them together, how we cut the wood, we stain them, and we just need everybody's help out there. And it's just, you don't have to have no experience with tools. We'll teach you how to do it, and it's a fun day, and it's everybody here in our community that comes out and gets involved. And I will advertise it when we're going to have our bed built in October, the date, and then everybody will know. I will advertise it.
Okay, I want everybody looking forward to this, because I know you want quite a few people out there helping you, joining in on this community build, building beds for SHP, building beds for young people, these young people that don't have their own beds. So community build, it's a way we can all participate. And you did mention donations, and donations, we still want people to donate, because they do need wood, they do need pillows, they do need sheets and blankets and all the other things that they need to provide this young person with that bed. So let's go back and talk about, what do they need to do to request the bed?
Go on shp.org, and it'll say on there, they'll have a little laptop on the top, and it'll say request a bed. You fill that out, send it, and it will be sent to me, and then I will get in contact with you.
And that contact itself, I think, is going to be invaluable, because we're looking at it, the family is looking at it saying, it's so much closer now to this young person having their own bed. Carmen, is there anything else you'd like to add to let our audience know?
I just would like to put a thank you out there for the people that have donated towards us. We had the Rotary, the Moose, Shepherd Valley Lutheran Church, Core Civic. These are funds that I've received. Kiwanis has been a big one this year. And personal people have sent checks in too. But I just want to thank everybody that's been trying to help us out, and we just need to keep going and get more wood so we can provide more beds for all these children. Thank you.
You know, with everything Carmen has said, I want all of you to make sure that you've taken this information down, contact her, become a part of SHP. This is so important to you, us, and our community. Thank you for listening.